Okay, so we're going live in a few seconds. I tell you, it's just almost there. Just I'm gonna give it 20 seconds in total, and we should be live.
Okay. I have been there before though, so no worries.
Yeah, you have. I haven't, and I need things to put things places so I can just tap on them and go.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's in a weird spot, of course, and this is what happens when you do a one man show with no help.
Listen, I know. I know.
And I really I'm like trying to get it to the right spot. And if I can jury rig as much as possible. And of course, this is going to be finicky. Yep, that's not going to be. Well, that'll work partially. Hopefully, it won't hit the floor. All right, let's see. Can you see? No, you can't see. Good.
Yet I
Are
can
you
just.
set? All
I'm ready.
right. So we should be recording. So I'm just going to say hello. And I'm going to put me there. Oh, there we go. And let's move us to live. Take that away. Boom. Great. Wow, this has been one great day. I tell you very much. You would not know how much trouble it's been, but welcome to the show. This is BFAM Cooking, and I'm doing my first interview today with Evelyn.
Oh, you gotta cue me.
We're winging it today. Winging, full wing.
Well, wait,
So,
it'll be fine. It's all okay.
Evelyn is a chef. She is a personal chef, and she also is an instructor, and also just a nice lady to help me out with this. What I'm trying to do here is a little bit different, a little bit of a interview style of which we talk to people in the food profession, to people that all of you foodies love, which would be people who love to make food, good food. And that's why I'm asking a few chefs, personal chefs, professional chefs, personal chefs or professional chefs, they make money with it. People who are in the business of making great food today. So that's what I'm planning on doing, is doing a series of these. I think I have like 8 chefs lined up. So I'm moving forward with that. And Evelyn, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, from a culinary standpoint, I've been a professional chef, I would say, for a little over 10 years. Even though I've been cooking since I was 6 years old. And if you want to classify a professional chef by when did I make my first dollar from food, that started at 15. So I've had my first chef business since I was 15 years old. But I live here in Dallas, Texas, and I kind of started out like most people. I was working, well, not I want to say most people, but a lot of people, I was working in a different field as a chemical and environmental engineer, working in corporate America. And I kind of knew that I had this inkling that I wanted to be a chef, and but I didn't know what that would look like, and the path that I could take. But eventually, to summarize it, I ended up going to culinary school, doing both culinary and baking and pastry, leaving that, and then I've had a series of roles and jobs since then. So I've been a personal chef, I've done catering, I've had celebrity clients, I've taught cooking classes, worked in culinary R&D, culinary manufacturing. And then now I spend the bulk of my time between teaching online cooking classes, private online cooking classes, and then also consulting with other chefs or aspiring chefs who really want to figure out how they can get at least some of their time out of the kitchen and figure out how to make money outside of just being like attached to the stove. So that's what I do now.
Cool. I just want to know, now that you've given us the small bio, what type of food do you like cooking? Are you an all-around chef, all-rounded chef, or would you say that you just dabble in one type of food?
For me, I would say, I guess you could classify it as ethnic cuisine. So anything that has like really strong, aggressive flavors. So whether you're talking about Thai food, whether you're talking about West African food, whether you're talking about Jamaican cuisine, South American cuisine, anything that's got a lot of herbs and spices, maybe a little bit of heat. I'm really, really into that. So, my spice pantry is like, I'm always like running through spices because that's just what I love. And so, and then I like to bake. Baking came first. So baking and pastry is probably like, like that's my baby. But then the really strong ethnic foods come right after that.
Hmm. You have to excuse my tapping around. I'm just trying to get a little gist of how this could all work. Um, Working with this new application I'm working with, which is Switcher Studio, it's pretty cool. I'm trying to play a little bit with it and see if we can make a nice production. But anyway, back to your food. You like pastry? Pastry is great. I love pastry. What would you say would be your number one pastry dish?
Oh my goodness. So that's an interesting question. And it's not like I haven't been asked that before. Obviously, that's one of the probably the most popular questions a chef gets is like, what's your favorite thing? It depends. If you're asking me what my favorite thing to make is versus my favorite thing to eat versus what people like from me. So I would say what people enjoy from me. Obviously, my family is, well, not obviously, but my family is originally from like the South, right? So my grandmother's from Georgia. So my family and friends kind of like those classic, like pound cakes and, those classic Southern cakes. For me, I enjoy French pastry. So, pot of choux, cream puffs, eclairs, anything like that. I'm not necessarily the best sugar worker or a chocolatier. I can dabble, but in Texas, trying to temper chocolate and trying to work with sugar when it's 102 degrees hasn't been like my friend. So, but yeah, French pastries is probably my favorite. And then, pot de creme and creme brulee. And I just love all that.
Well, I love making creme brulee. I've just made a recent one for a friend using a friend's coffee recipe. Well, not his recipe, but my recipe. His coffee in my creme brulee. So it was a coffee creme brulee. It turned out fantastic. Um, Besides pastry, tell me a little bit about one of your most favorite dishes and how you feel that it would be good for a home cook to try.
Believe it or not, I think one of my most popular dishes, from when I was teaching or even with clients, is like the simplest meal. Ironically, you would think it would be something, elaborate or with molecular gastronomy, but it's steak and potatoes. Believe it or not, and I think it's because I'm a Midwest girl, so I grew up on cows. If it crawled on the ground, we ate it, and I believe like you don't need 1,000 marinades, you don't need 1,000 sauces. That if you have a really, really, really quality piece of meat and it's fresh and you season it well with salt and pepper and you just cook it well, the meat itself will give you all the flavor that you need. Now, I'm not opposed to sauces for enhancement or marinades, but it's just something about taking just a really, really good piece of steak and just grilling it or searing it in cast iron in a little compound butter on the top, and you're good to go.
Now, I love me some red meat, so I really like to enjoy that. Are you a aged meat person? Do you suggest that for home cooks?
Aged meats, grass fed if possible. And then I would also recommend for home cooks if you can find a local butcher. That's all that they do. So even outside of, yes, you can go into a nicer grocery store and they have a really good meat counter. But if you can find a small family owned um, butcher shop and just go there, right? It's the meat is different. Or if you can find a local farmer, who is like bringing their stuff, in a refrigerated crate to the farmer's market, and you can get your grass fed beef that way. It's great.
So I know of a couple places upstate New York. I'm in New York, as you already know, on Long Island. I can get some stuff shipped in from Hudson Valley. But is there some suggestions that you would make that that I should take a look at, see if I can order and have sent to my home?
I don't know if about ordering because when I go to like a local butcher or something like that, I'm going to the Dallas Farmers Market, right? And I'm seeing, I mean, I'm in cattle country here in Texas, so beef abounds. So I don't have to order it. I mean, for us, that's more so like we have to go to special fish markets because, I'm landlocked up here in Dallas. But ordering, I don't know. I wouldn't want to make something up. I don't know. I just go straight to the farmer's market.
So you were saying, I have on your little lower thirds graphic there that you're used to do catering. Said used to. I was like, but I thought I just talked with you about this. Is that what? Are you not doing catering anymore? Is that something that you?
Yeah, I stopped catering a couple of years ago. Let me tell you what's so funny. And listen, shout out to all my caterers out there because catering is a lot of work. I think people think it's like, oh, I love food and I want to go into the food industry. I'll be a caterer because I know how to cook. And there's so much more to it than that. But for me, I really liked the intimate interaction of seeing my clients' faces, when I'm serving them each course. I really liked being in environments where I was introducing people to different ingredients, like, hey, there's more to life than table salt. You know what I mean? There's more to herbs than, parsley and basil. And so when I got into teaching and to personal chefing is when I really found teaching in particular is when I was like, okay, this is my sweet spot. So the catering, I did it because that's all I knew to do initially. I will even be honest. I wasn't the best caterer. Like the food was good, but like the logistics wasn't my sweet spot. So
It can be difficult, I guess, when you have several people you have to worry about and you're trying to do it all at once. I can just imagine.
yeah.
So, is there anything that you're doing now that I should know about that you're going to be creating in the future? Are you writing a book? Are you adding stuff to your website? Is there something that we should know out in the BFAM public?
Yeah, so I do private cooking classes. So like if you have a group of 15 or more, I do private cooking classes virtually, obviously right now. And I also do that for corporations. So I've done it for corporations, organizations, churches, girlfriends groups. Obviously with the world being the way it is right now, it's all virtual. But I've been doing actually, this is so interesting that everything's virtual now because I've been doing online cooking classes since 2010 before it was like a thing. So my very first virtual cooking class was in 2010 before Instagram was even created later that year. So that's what I'm doing. And then also, like I said, like for the people who are like, you know what, I love food enough that I'm contemplating maybe doing this for a profession. I would definitely tell them to check out like my YouTube channel. I've got probably over 40 something free videos just about, what you should know if you want to kind of enter in this industry and you want to do it as an entrepreneur. So those are the kind of two things. So if you are a professional and you want to learn how to make money with your cooking skills outside of the kitchen, I do that, but then also the private classes.
So, would you say the videos that you have on YouTube what are they focused on specifically? Or you said recipes, or are they talking about business, or are they talking about how to ramp up? What back to basics?
So it's a mix, right? So I would say I have a lot of videos where I used to cook live all the time, like full 2 hour cooking classes on there. I've got some recipes on there. I've got some food vlogs, like just different things that I find. I call them foodie finds. So if I find something I think is really interesting or that I think people will want to check out, I have a series where I do those kind of videos. And then there's also a playlist for my fellow peers on how to either start their business or grow their business as a personal chef. So it's a little bit of both.
Okay. Well, Chef Evelyn, I really wanted to not take up too much of your time. Just give you and give everybody a look at where we're going with this one-on-one. What I'm calling into this restaurant door, or behind the restaurant door is what I wanted to call it. I'll figure it out. We'll get it in there. You know what they say? Just start playing with it. Make sure start moving forward, and that'll bring you something. At least if I stumble, it won't be bad. It'll only be a small step. But thank you very much for taking the time to participate in this.
That's
I
right.
know it was a big workaround that we had to do, but hey, welcome to BFAM. And
Thank you.
we are out.